Hey there you guys, welcome back. Today we're going to have a look at the Amorphophallus Titanum. So this I think I got it a year ago. I got it last fall? I can't remember. Anyway, this has been its first summer, and when it went outside for the summertime, it ended up losing all of its leaves, and I thought I'd killed it. I thought it was a goner. And then maybe a month later, after it had a little bit of a rest, it started setting up a leaf, and then it set up another leaf. I don't know which one was the first leaf and which one was the second leaf. I'm not sure. So all summer long, it's had these two leaves, and they look a little bit burnt because they were the grow light is like two inches above it. The other day I just raised it up because I'm like, well, that's not good. So I could feel inside the pot here. It feels like the corm or bulb or tuber or whatever you want to call it. I think it's a corm. I think it's at the edge of the pot. So I really want it to grow well. So I think I'm going to move it up to a 1 gallon size pot. And I thought I'd bring you along with me to see what's going on in here. I'm not going to dig around at the roots too much. I wanted to basically want to transfer this to this, so that it has a little bit more space to grow. I wanted to go a little bit bigger than this, but right now I don't think that that's a good idea, just because my grow space is so full. I want to go into a 2 gallon size pot. That's originally what I wanted to do, and I might do that in the summertime when it's outside. I want to give this corm a lot of space so that it can grow bigger and bigger and bigger, because I don't know whether you know, but these guys can get to be, I don't know, like 100 kilograms more. They get very, very big. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it if it ever gets to be that size, but I want to allow it to grow bigger. And I also want this leaf to get monstrous. I want it to get really, really big. Again, don't know what I'm going to do with it when it gets really, really big, but I just want to try. Probably have to give it to some local greenhouse. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's get to it. Let's bring the camera down. So these plants don't like direct sun. They like a bright light but indirect sun. So usually there's like a shade curtain or a glazing over the window to allow for a little bit of shelter from the sun. So here, when I grew it outside, it was in a lot of sun, but it wasn't in full sun. I think I had it on the second or third shelf down. It got a lot of sun, but it didn't get direct sun. So it really enjoyed it. It grew very, very well. But inside the grow light, it was too close to the grow light, and that's what happened. I haven't been doing much with this over the season. Since it came inside, I tried to water it a lot, but it seems like it's bone dry, and these guys supposedly don't like to be bone dry. So it might be good to give it a bigger size pot so it doesn't dry out as quickly. Let's pull it out of its pot, see what's going on. Give it a little squish, little squisharoo. Don't want to damage the plant. Ah, there it comes. So we got lots of nice roots in there. It's not bone dry at the bottom, so that's good. It's just a little bit damp. You can see it's dry, maybe the top inch. So I'm just going to remove a little bit of the soil. I'm going to use a high porosity Pro Mix. These guys like to be moist, but they don't want to sit in water. They want a nice loamy soil. So the bulb isn't as big as I thought it was. Trying to move some of the soil so that you can see what it looks like. Looks like there's a high amount of perlite in this soil too. So that really aids in the drainage as well. So I don't know whether you're able to see this, but here is the white section that is the corm. So it's only about, I'm going to be generous and say 2 inches across. So it's not very big, and that's okay. I don't really mind. We'll still give it the bigger size pot to allow for more root development. More root development means probably more food for the plant to uptake, and it'll also mean that the bulb will be able to get a little bit bigger. So I wasn't going to take all of the soil off, but as you can see, I've taken all the soil off. Oh, Bill. Alright, so let's get this pot out of the way. I'm going to use a piece of paper towel just in the base to stop soil from coming out of the bottom in mass, but the paper towel still allows drainage. So I'm just going to get my high porosity soil. So this is also higher in perlite. So I'm just going to, shouldn't have put that much in. Okay, so I put a few inches of soil in the base. I'm just going to make a little mound in the center of the pot so that my roots can kind of dangle off to the side, so so they have a place to go. I'm trying to make the corm a little bit higher, and the roots can dangle down rather than just being flat across the bottom of the pot. So I'm raising it up to the level I want it to be at, and I'm letting the soil fall down as it may. So it's going to, instead of crushing the roots, it's going to go between the roots. Get a little bit more soil. At the end we'll compact it a little bit. Giving it a little bit of shake allows it to go through without hurting the roots too badly. So this was the same height as it was in the other pot. I don't want to bury it too deep, but I don't want it to be too shallow either. If it's too shallow, it can make the plant less stable. These plants can get quite large, and if it's not as stable, it'll topple over in a wind or something. Alright, so that's nice there. I'm just going to get a little drip tray and we'll give it a drink. Okay, so in the wintertime, I still don't want it to dry out completely. I let it go a little bit too dry. These guys, even when they're dormant, supposedly don't want to be completely dry. Unlike the Amorphophallus konjac, which I also grow, those ones don't mind being completely dry, and I store them dry. I usually dig them out of the soil and store them kind of just as their little corms. But these guys, they like to be still a little bit damp. They don't want to be soggy, but they don't want to be dry. So if that makes any sense. It's hard for me to convey that. And when you first water something, it's going to feel soaking wet, but after a little bit it's going to move its way down the pot and it won't be as bad. No water has come out the bottom of this pot, so that's fine. If water came out the bottom, I would empty out the tray and then place the plant back on. They don't want to be sitting in water. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little update on the Amorphophallus Titan. I hope that it grows really, really well. It's only January now, so there's plenty of time for it to die. But I hope that it survives, and I hope that it does well this summertime. And I hope that we get a new leaf that's bigger than these leaves. And hopefully having it in a slightly bigger pot will allow that to happen. So if you're growing Amorphophallus of any sort, I'd love to see photos. Post them to the Plants and Things What's Growing page, especially if you're growing Titanum. I'd love to see what yours look like, how big they are, what size of pot are you using, what type of pot are you using. I have some in the garage that have handles on them. They're maybe a 3-gallon size pot, and that's what it's eventually going to go into. But right now this 1-gallon size is just fine. So share your tricks and tips. I wish that I could show you how glossy these leaves are as well. The Titan has a really beautiful glossy leaf, where the konjac, it's not this way. This gloss kind of reminds me of a ZZ plant, where it kind of looks fake, or that I've just shined the leaf. I have not done anything to these leaves, as you can tell. They're kind of a little bit burnt. But anyway, until next time, you guys, happy growing.